Would you marry someone you are not in love with? So the short answer is
No.
No.
I feel like love is kind of like it probably starts off as lust. And then after that, when lust don't last, then you have to figure out what is the more sustainable thing. And I think eventually love is just responsibility. You're responsible for the thing that you love, but that responsibility stems from emotion and not something logical.
I mean, I would disagree about the last thing, because last is like, it doesn't actually lead to anything. If you start off with lust, right, you might not ever end up in love, because you only say you love the person because of the consequences that you are there already. You cannot leave.
So if you don't start off with lust, that means like everybody you love, you must not be attracted to them.
Not say not attracted.
Have you ever watched the Netflix show called Love is Blind?
No, never. Summary.
So the show Love is Blind, right, is about male and females. They are split into two different segments. And then you are meeting people just by talking to them. So you go on dates for, I think it was around 10 days. So you just constantly talk to people, and then like eventually you find your true love. And then after that you will see them for around, I think it's like 4 weeks. Then you decide whether you want to marry them or not. So
That's damn fast.
so that concept is basically cancelling out the idea of lust, right? Because the first time you meet the person, and if you feel connected, is based on you just feeling emotionally connected and not physically.
But what's the show name again?
Love is Blind.
Love is Blind. Then the contestant they choose is normal people or like exceptionally hot people to drive ratings
People
up.
register for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Then they got selected to be
Yes.
broadcasted.
So people register for it, and then they get broadcasted and whatever. So
But you see,
when
like
you
Singles
meet the
Inferno,
person, yeah,
everybody fucking hot one
correct.
They never pick ugly people
Yeah,
for Singles
so-
Inferno. Not
so-
realistic, bro.
Yeah, so in Love is Blind, actually some people looks okay. Like there are
But
people
there's a
with
range,
like there are people with like some physical stuff that is not usually accepted. And then there are some couples that when they meet, right, and then they decided like, no, I cannot do this. So then you're like, okay, like this person is clearly, love is not blind anymore. When we talk about like whether love always start as a lust, I don't think so. I think it depends like what you are looking for. Maybe love started as lust for him.
Oh yeah, maybe. You must feel that the person is attractive, then you will even go and talk to the person. If you don't even talk to the person, then
I think that is what dating app is about lah.
Yeah.
Because like the first thing you see is like the looks of a person, right?
Yeah.
Before you will even scroll down to read their bio and their introduction and everything.
Yeah.
Looking at them and judging them by their looks. I was in a Instagram rabbit hole, and then they were saying like, as a guy, your biggest competitor is not other guys. It's your partner's childhood trauma.
oh, the girl's childhood drama.
Because that's what they are familiar with. So even if you're a very nice guy, and if they are familiar with something that is like abusive or like whatever, right, that is where they find comfort in.
Oh my god.
And then there's also another theory that they say like girls with ADHD, they will always like the medium ugly guy. So
Yeah.
medium ugly is my new favorite word because they are literally talking about like the medium ugly guys giving you the dopamine of like what an ADHD girl would need. Like they just give you like the sudden dopamine, right? And then you will find a guy like extremely hot.
You know,
But
right?
that
Why?
guy is
Char-
just a
you know,
medium
Charlene was
ugly
telling
guy.
me this when we were watching Singles Inferno, right? That there is this girl rejected the most handsome looking guy because he's too handsome and she preferred a medium ugly guy.
Why does a medium ugly guy give you that dopamine hit?
Yeah.
Because
Why?
of their personality.
How does a medium ugly guy
So
possess?
so like basically we are just talking about like, okay, you meet a person for the first time, so you decide like whether they are hot or they are like not hot, right? Then you're like, okay, you always go for the hotter one, right?
Yeah.
But for a girl, right, if they have ADHD and if a hot guy is kind of like low key boring, right, their dopamine level don't get hit on a ADHD level.
Because if you're good looking, you are only hitting her one sense, which is the sense of sight.
yes.
You're only fulfilling the sense of sight.
Yeah. So with an ADHD girl, you need to like hit the other stuff, like emotionally, then you keep her like, whoa, like on a high dopamine level, right? Then they will find you like extremely hot, even if you're just like medium ugly.
I got hyperactivity. No wonder my girlfriend thinks that I'm very attractive.
Maybe.
Because I'm everywhere, you know.
Yeah, so her dopamine level is like constantly like on like high.
Huh.
And then she will forever find you like fucking hot until you get boring.